All right, ladies and gentlemen, big show tonight. Brian stirring up all kinds of trouble on Twitter these days. I mean, Brian, this is like normally we've had lots of DFS beefs over the years, and we kind of chill on the sidelines and poke the bear, but you are now the protagonist, a hero of a DFS beef. How do you feel?
It's pretty fun. I was fucking cracking myself up there for at least an hour.
Yeah, I think we should catch people up who haven't been, hanging out on Twitter all day and maybe might not even know where we're at. Last week, we talked about a DFS challenge. Ben The Bettor, a sports bettor, took umbrage with the fact that DFS players can all just jam in 150 lineups. He said anyone can win with 150 lineups. So Brian tossed his hand in the ring here to play him, and there were some terms made, but as things progress throughout the week, it appears things have fallen apart. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, pretty much. We did agree on one bet. So yeah, we when we first agreed, he didn't have the bankroll to play in like the $5 or $6. So then we started trying to come up with ideas where we could actually do it. And we came up with the idea of he enters like the quarter arcade or whatever, the mini mix, and we just take the CSVs and match him up later on.
Yeah.
And then whatever he would get in there, he would get.
Were you going to be doing the manual work on that?
If I had to.
Yeah. And I mean, that takes some time for 30 slates to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was trying to figure out how much he wanted to bet, in the beginning. And he's like, I'm looking for backers, blah, blah, blah. So I honestly didn't think it was going to, I could tell already. I'm like, it wasn't going to be that much.
Yeah.
But I thought like, maybe I could do that, get some side action, get some side bets going, and maybe a sports book posts it. And they're not going to let you bet much on it. I'm sure the limits are tiny. And I'll add it all up, and then it's worth spending time on.
What was like the minimum amount? It just total across all those things, side bets, that would have made you, feel like it was worth all the hassle?
Probably less than it would now. I probably would have done it for 10, maybe.
That's $10,000 for people at home.
I thought like 20,000 was fine. Like I figured I'd get like 5 out of him, a couple in the book, maybe. And then somebody would probably, and then maybe somebody would bet me 10 or 20. Ricky D almost bet me.
Yeah.
But he didn't know all the rules.
Yeah. I mean, how in crypto they talk about like smart contract risk. I feel like betting on Ben The Bettor, there's like contract risk in him even just finishing the challenge and playing over. Like, imagine the risk for Ricky D if Ben The Bettor has $600 on the line and is just maxing out the quarter arcade or whatever, and then Ricky D has $50K on the line. Like, those incentives are not aligned properly.
Right. Yeah. Right. And I told him too, I wouldn't bet him if he was going to help him.
Yeah.
Because there's an obvious conflict of interest there. And so I thought a reasonable conclusion, me and you DM'd a little bit on this after, he told us how much he's got the bet. And I'm like, well, let's just bet that on the other thing he agreed to, which is would he just be plus EV in the whatever he enters, quarter, arcade, mini, any 150 on DK, I could care less what it is.
Yeah.
30 slates.
Yeah.
And then we'll just say he's looking for backers. I'm looking for side action, and we're waiting to start it. So he doesn't look bad. You know what I mean? Like, we were trying to be cool. We were nice on our last show. And it's like that would have been fucking fine. And then he wanted to talk on Discord.
That was today, right? That you guys had that call?
Yeah. That was today. And I should have been like, why the fuck does he want to talk? But yeah, he calls me on Discord, and for people who don't know, on Discord you can actually talk over the phone or your computer. And he is real. He does exist.
No video though. This was just audio.
No
You didn't
video.
get a look at the Bettor in the wild.
No.
What did you guys talk about?
Like nothing new to share. Like it's like the same thing me and him been DMing on Twitter. It's like,
yeah,
if you get some money, and I was saying like maybe you run hot here, and then we'll bet. I'm like, I'll do it in a month from now. I'll do it. I don't care.
Build the roll up because it's so easy to win with one.
Yeah, or go run hot in sports betting. He's a pro sports bettor apparently, right? Win all the money in sports betting, and then come talk to me, or get your backers that you think you're gonna get. That's why I don't give a shit. Like we don't have to do it tomorrow. We can do it 6 months from now.
And so then, how did the call end? Where was it?
So I invited him on the show, and I said,
"Where are you, Ben?"
And I said, I'm like, we can talk about the bet, the bet we make where he's plus 150. I said, if you watch any of our shows, we're always cordial. We're not gonna like gotcha.
Unless you're Yukon Dave.
Ben doesn't have a process for me to fucking interrogate him. Okay?
He has a spreadsheet, Brian.
I could give a flying fuck about his process. And this call was perfectly cordial.
Yeah. That's good to hear.
And then he goes, and then he's like, no, I don't want to go on. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I was like, this will be good pub. I mean, he has a Patreon. He clearly wants followers. Like, come on the show. It'll be good for you. We're not going to be dicks. And hangs up the phone and then immediately starts fucking tweeting at me.
Yeah. So let me pull up this. I'll pull up the tweet here because then we had a very fun afternoon on Twitter, and by we I mean the collective we observing this. So. Just spoke to Brian on Discord. He said it isn't worth his time doing the competition against me unless he has 20K in action. So for the time being, the competition with us is delayed. And I knew this playbook was coming. Like, Brian, the second you told me that you're like, I'm not doing this for 600, which no one blames you for, but I knew this is a PR playbook on how you spin this. I mean, it's so obvious.
And he didn't have to. We had a bet, and I was saying he needs backers. I want side action. We're not calling him out really. It's like it's water on the bridge. No one was saying anything. And so, what do you think his play was there? What do you think he was trying to accomplish there? Because I think, for me, it's I don't even fucking know. He's trying to make it seem like I'm unreasonable.
So this is the thing. He's playing a battle in the court of public opinion. After the challenge was launched, he got all that feedback and realized how screwed he was, which is why he needed to find a coach, which is antithetical to the entire spirit of the bet. And now this gave him just the tiniest window to kind of push, because there was no way this was going to work out well for him. I mean, if he can't get any money, no one's willing to back him. He's not willing to put more money to his name. He's not willing to spend more time building up his role. What's the one thing he has? You saying, I don't want to do it under these conditions. And then he can just push that angle, which is hilarious, but he has that slight opening and he's going to run with it.
And then you call the person so I can't screenshot from the DMs.
Right.
You call him and then go, he said this.
And I could tell this is one of the more savage tweets you will see Brian do. This wasn't, it escalated from here. So you said, yes. Ben, I'm sure there are plenty of DFS players who will spend the time playing you for the $600 you offered. If you get some cash somehow, happy to play. And you initially weren't going to blow up his spot for how much he wanted to wager.
Exactly. And okay, if you get some cash somehow, I'm throwing shade there, obviously. But it's still not, he did his little fucking shady slime ball thing of calling me and then tweeting. So I gave him that. I was done there. That's fine.
Then did he quote retweet this one? Okay. Yeah. And then he came after Brian having a Patreon. He's like every other pompous smug DFS tout. It is also funny that you're getting characterized as a tout on here who acts too rich to accept an offer from a poor peasant like me, but he'll gladly take your $20 for his quote unquote whale tier. on Patreon. He thought he had a real gotcha moment there.
Yeah. Whale tear. This idiot comes up with whale tear. It's like, you moron, you don't get the joke. And he's saying this while we have a bet. Like, we agreed to a bet. Can he beat 30 slates of 150? His choice. I don't care what sport, whatever. Right? So I agreed to bet him. Like, in that bet, I don't have to do shit. I'll bet more than $1,000. I'll bet whatever he wants on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to find out because once the money gets really deep, you got to see who's backing him and how much help he's getting and stuff like that. But you get the idea.
Yeah, and so now we're in a classic quote retweet off nestled in here. It makes it easy for, and this is where Brian pulls out the screenshot. Thanks for the promo, Ben. Don't you dare besmirch the good name of Vegas David. My non-dim, that's a bridge too far. And then look at those crowns, Brian. What a flex.
I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done this. I've never screenshotted, and this guy fucking gets me going. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is he thinking? Yeah,
everyone enjoyed that tweet, and then did he come back after that?
No, then I just started going at him.
And then what is this? Sorry for the late reply. I was busy watching a CSGO match that I just won 1K betting it. Keep spreading lies. Also, Bryce said he would put 20K on me if you gave him better odds. I mean, I would put 20K on Ben the Bettor if you gave me incredible odds too. What are you going to give me, 10-1? I'll become a Ben the Bettor backer.
The quote tweet he quoted of me was the start of the little back and forth, and him going to his sub accounts. I'm almost positive some of these guys were his burners.
Which ones are the burners here?
I don't know, the one who deleted a tweet.
Okay.
Because like, if you like, why would you delete your tweet like instantly unless you know what I mean? Like,
I also like people saying that it looks like you won $547.
Yes,
profit.
Of course, that's not $1,000 winning bet.
What's sad is, that like this bet is like the whale play of the year for him, and he's so excited about it. Which, I mean, shouldn't he be quickly willing to apply this to the bet? Like, now is he up to, he has X amount of money here. It's just so weird. If DFS is so easy, why wouldn't he take his sports betting role? Because like, we've seen the receipts on sports betting, and it looks, based on his track record, that it's pretty hard. I would move to the softer sport of 150 max DFS.
Yeah. I think in his original, he should have stuck to his original tweet. The full context of it was that you guys collude.
Yeah.
And so that's why I responded. I don't work with anybody. And so let's play. Because he was saying that you guys collude. So he could just said that, like, yeah, you guys are a bunch of. He's not the greatest strategist, Pete. I don't think he really planned this out. Yeah,
I don't really. It's truly hard to know his angle, because like, I immediately want to go, oh, he's one of the, there's no such thing as bad press, get attention. But like, all of this is going back to how is he converting any of these new DFS eyeballs to Patreon subs? I don't see how that's happening for him. So I do truly wonder what is the upside for him in all of this.
I think I told you in DMs, I thought he was like, okay, I'll play this guy, and then if I beat him, I can switch over to DFS tout.
Yeah.
Or if I like hold my own or something, I could throw DFS in there. So it's worth him to make the bet, the $600 bet in his mind. Who knows what he really wanted to bet?
I feel like Ben, the DFS player, just doesn't have the kind of alliterative kind of ring to it that Ben the Bettor does. I'm just not sure how that crossover would work.
Good point. Yeah. He might struggle. You never know.
BTM is wanting to get intel on Ben the Bettor here. Did he seem like a young guy, Brian? Tell us about his voice. Paint a picture for us.
I'm going to say 5'8". Between 125 and 147. mid-20s.
Mid-20s.
Those all could be completely wrong. I'm totally kidding. He just sounded like a normal dude, honestly.
Yeah. He didn't.
I wasn't expecting him to. I think it was. Again, like I don't know the strategy. If he thinks any press is good press, I get it. But it's like it was totally unnecessary. You have a bet. If you get backers, we'll play.
I do want to say hi to Ben. I know you're watching tonight, and I still would like to extend the invite to you. If truly your play is good press or all press is good press, come on the show, Ben. I will remain cordial. And Brian already said he doesn't give a shit about your process, so he won't interrogate you like he did Vegas Dave. We can just we can hear more about how we arrived at this point, because it seems like we are now going in circles, even though there was a framework for a bet. But I think I speak on behalf of all DFS players. We do really want you to play the mini max for 30 slates. And I mean, as far as I understand, Brian, does that require work on your end, or would you just be able to look at that in Roto Tracker?
Yeah, I don't have to do anything. Another thing about playing against an opponent, though, isn't just work. I have to change. You'd have to change your strategy. So, like, if you're down the road and you want to lock up a win, you might go more conservative.
Yeah.
Or if you're down, you might go more aggressive. Theoretically, you could be thinking about changing your strategy. And I play for a living, so like I don't want to change my strategy unless I have to.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I enter those tournaments to win money. I don't enter them for some stupid contest.
Right. And if he was playing in the exact same contest as you and there wasn't the administrative, like, you probably would just say, sure, whatever, let's do the $600 bet, because like you said, you're still just going to do the same shit you're always going to do, and it's not going to require extra effort, right?
Right. Yeah. There's nothing stopping him from doing it himself and then showing me up.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
All right.
I want if he was cool about it, and somebody would, no one would side bet. And here's another thing too, is like, there's a lot of good tweets you're missing, but the one with Bryce was good.
What's the one you want me to pull up?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them, but the latest interaction between Bryce and Ben.
All right, let me see here. I never said that, and I'm not betting this.
Go to the top, right? Go to the top.
Top of what?
No, okay. Go to go to the top. I'm sorry. So Bryce, he said Bryce would put up the 20K if he gives me better odds.
Right.
So I said I'll do it for the 175 against Bryce, but I do not want to bet against the guy coaching him.
Yeah.
Right. It's a stupid move, like for obvious reasons. But whatever. Bryce seems like an honorable gambler and a straight shooter. So I'm like, whatever. I'll keep the 175, even though he's his coach, and I'll still fucking do it. And then he goes, I never said that. And now that this dude a conflict of interest, which I think he said before already. And then you said you do it for 200 plus 250. And I said this in the Lulz forum. It's like he's gonna lose his mentor. Like he's calling his mentor the only shot he's got. He's in a Twitter beef with. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, the playbook is you get in the weeds on all the minutia, the thing, and you kind of self-destruct it on your own, and then you're off the hook for the bet. I mean, let's again go back to this. I mean, Ben The Bettor has no intention of playing 30 DFS slates across multiple sports and putting in the baseline level of work to even be competent at that. Like he has zero intention to do that.
Okay, so now you're guessing that it was never.
The more I look about this, it seems to me that self-sabotage is a nice way in his mind to get out of the bet in the court of public opinion, which is not actually the case, but that's the only thing I can think of.
You might be right. I honestly think he doesn't have any money, and that's all he can bet, and he would do it for $600.
Yeah,
I think he would play it, and why not? I mean, I guess why not for him? For him, it's like an expensive League of Legends bet on Bovada.
Yeah. Let's I think we've this is turning into a dead horse here, but I got this question from OA, and you had flagged this earlier this evening about high stakes collusion. And I mean, I know the general premise of what's going on, but can you set the stage here a little bit?
Yeah, I actually haven't been keeping up with the high stakes collusion threads. I need to someone send me those if I'm missing any. I saw there was one a couple weeks ago.
It was about McLovin, right? And another guy.
Yeah, I think so. God, I'm starting to forget who it was. Was it McLovin?
I forget who was sharing it, but I remember seeing that thread. Oh, it was one of the high stakes fantasy football guys who's been playing. Chad Schroeder, I believe, was the one who kicked that off. He's been playing a lot of DFS now and noticed some bizarre patterns of activity in 3-mans around McLovin and a second guy.
Okay, so then it's McLovin here again, and so obviously, I don't think he says it like explicitly, does he? Does he say these guys are cheating?
Empire says at least 4 to 5 people are in on it too. Basically, everyone who plays high stakes except Love Basis and BK Ryder. Let me join these 10Ks. I don't know what this search means. Does this mean he's like blocked out of being able to join these? I'm not familiar with the mechanics here.
I'm assuming he is being ironic, and like that's who is in the 3-man, and so he's saying, "Let me join this." No, of course not. These guys are cheating. Am I getting that wrong? That's what I'm getting at that.
Oh, I might be reading it wrong. I missed that. I don't get it.
I think that's what he's saying.
Talking about lineups and having the same team is nothing like gaming 3 and 4-mans. I haven't seen some share a lineup in years.
Yeah. So the strategy is you partner with someone and one guy takes like the obvious cash lineup and another guy takes like one pivot. And then you hope to, especially if you know like what like the third guy's going to do.
Yeah.
And then you're free rolling them because you split or you take his money.
Right.
I don't play a lot of 3-mans on anything anymore, but
because of that dynamic spooking you, or just for other reasons?
Yeah, well, I mean, I mainly play cash on Yahoo and Super Draft, and then like when I either have a lot of time or it's like a bigger event where there's going to be a bunch of noobs. But I wouldn't play the 3-mans either, or I even go like 10 or higher at least. Yeah, because of it's like, well, first of all, even if they're not colluding, it's like a lot of the times it's just 9 really good players. So it's like, well, okay, whatever. Why even bother if there's a chance they're colluding? But I have no idea if they're colluding, and I haven't had time to even look into this stuff. I don't even know if I'd have the data to do it. It's possible they're not, and they're just mistaken. It's possible. But I think my solution that I've talked about on the show multiple times is random like a random number generator, entry generator. So like based exactly like the old full tilt poker model. What was it called? I can't Zoom poker, or was that on Poker Stars? Whatever. The one where as soon as you fold, you go to a new table and you're just constantly switching between tables, and you enter a pool of poker players and you're just randomly assigned a table and then randomly assigned a table and then randomly, and you're just playing a million hands a minute, and you can't get data on any specific guy really because it's so fast, right? Do the same thing with cash games in DFS. Leave those up for those guys if they want to have the 3-mans where they pick their opponent, and you bum hunt, whatever, leave it. But then have an option for that where you just enter a random pool. So if they enter a random pool with everyone entering the random pool in the 3-mans, they can't guarantee that they'll be with their partner.
Right. Right, and which is where the edge comes from.
Right. And same with anything under whatever, 20-man, mainly 10. And also too, I think it'd be better for less experienced players or players taking a chance because they wouldn't feel as intimidated. So like you open it up and it says EM2, Mach Lovin, and Utica or whatever. And they're like, I'm not, why would I enter this format? Why would I enter this? But if it's just a pool.
What and why wouldn't you I love that idea. Why wouldn't you even extend that to like head to heads where you say which one you want and then you get randomized with opponents and also based on like experience levels and what have you. And that's part of the experience. It seems like that would be a great solution.
Yeah. I did say head to head too back when we talked about this before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Head to head, 3-mans, anything. I would do anything. Who cares?
Yeah.
But you don't need it for collusion purposes over 100. But I just enter the pool. Whatever I get in, I get in. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Harbs was tagging us in something Hoop tagged with these guys. Oh yeah, and Ryan Doubt, another.
That's who it was, Ryan Doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had piggybacked off of the Chad Schroeder here. Looked more into this. I'm now more than 90% certain collusion between McLovin and SRN looks bad. SRN usually the one to pivot off of the chalk lineup, but I've seen spots where it was Mock pivoting. Mock suspected of doing this with others in the past 3-mans. Happened in multiple sports. And then Hoop says, I played these guys in 3-mans on numerous occasions and had my suspicions. After looking back at my contest and seeing the evidence here, there's no doubt in my mind that these guys were cheating in these contests.
Yeah. I responded to him and he didn't respond to me. So he doesn't follow me.
Well, Brian,
I don't know.
Maybe it's just because you stir too much shit with all these guys. Everybody's afraid of the wrath of Brian these days.
First Ben the Bettor.
Yeah. So I mean, like on the scale of like how serious is this for the ecosystem? I mean, these are mostly high stake 3-mans, right?
Yeah, but it works the same way poker used to.
Yeah.
Where when the fish who has money plays, they're seated and you're not. You know? So you do get all that. You do get all that EV if you dominate the lobby.
Yeah. Alex asking about this on Underdog. I haven't played the 3 and 6-man drafts, but if it's all like the 12-man drafts, the users aren't known before. Although I guess to your point, you're saying 2 people could enter a draft out of 3 right away and then know that they were guaranteed to be in it.
2-man enter.
2-man enter, 1-man emerges.
Isn't it different players though?
Different
players in Underdog. You can't have the same player.
Correct. Yeah. The 3-man drafts are. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's like ways, but it's the advantage wouldn't be there like it would be. I don't
think so. Yeah. No. Yeah. The whole advantage is blocking them.
Yeah. There you go.
You could just take the 2 cash game lineups basically, and then hopefully he picks one of them, and then he's dead.
Yeah. That is, it's, on the other hand, like I'm not saying that it's okay, but it's also like the people sitting playing this kind of money. It sounds like it's well-respected DFS players who know their way around the lobby. I mean, is the answer just to avoid games with them, or is then Empire Makers now saying, I want to play these 3-mans and I can't do it without getting it in bad versus these guys colluding?
I mean, if you're just a recreational player, I definitely wouldn't play any 3-mans.
Yeah.
I imagine in the smaller ones, though, maybe that might be bad advice because they might be like super soft.
Yeah.
In the under $5. So maybe that's not universal. But in like the over $5 ones, yeah, just avoid it. And, cash is tough in a lot of the main sports anyways.
Yeah.
So you should be careful out there, kids.
Yep. Got to be careful out there. All right. What else did we have on tap tonight? Some of the other There was a couple other sports betting news things. We had Spanky's launching his new attack on DraftKings Sportsbook for being limited there. And then there was, who's the other guy? He was going after Barstool Sportsbook. I think Kanish is his name.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, he was going after them because I believe he got limited very quickly, whereas like the Barstool's whole mantra of how they promote their sportsbook is we'll never ban anyone, yada, yada. And now this isn't a new dynamic whatsoever of sportsbooks exercising their rights to limit bettors. Do you think, and we talked about this, right? Where it's like, wasn't your thing like until some like billionaire lobbyist like takes this up as a cause, like nothing's going to change?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like competition.
Yeah.
More competition would help, but you can't because you need to lobby because it's one of the most regulated industries out there, like liquor and cars. So there's not a whole lot you can do. I think Barstool's numbers are run by the company called Kambi from a European company, maybe from Sweden. I could be wrong because I think they have the exact same numbers as DraftKings and they're from Kambi. And they're just like notorious for limiting players.
Yeah.
So the idea that they're some sort of sharp book is laughable. And it's kind of interesting. Like you probably could get Portnoy to do something about it.
With his kind of weight and where he's at.
Like the way his persona is kind of like, libertarian kind of persona.
Yeah.
He might, and whatever, just diamond hands. He shits on that Robin Hood guy, and Elon Musk for being shady, etc. Like it figures, like if someone makes enough of a stink, that he'd be like, he might not even fucking know.
Yeah,
he might not even know that, like, because he's clearly a losing bettor. So, like, not that they're gonna ban him. I mean, but maybe he does because like he has to recommend betting on Barstool. But anyone who's halfway decent in sports betting knows you need to line shop.
Right.
So it's like you're already being disingenuous, except maybe he doesn't know that either.
Well, that's the irony too. I mean, because they're sitting on a gold mine of a demographic of bad sports bettors who also have no problem having a tribalistic allegiance to a single sports book because it's branded after their favorite, online reality TV show. Like, so that, I mean, they're sitting, and then you have the pro sports bettors wanting to come over there and snipe an inefficient line. And they're like, no, this isn't our business model. We want all the frat bros who are hungover on a Saturday morning firing on college football.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
that's not the way that he portrays himself at all.
Right.
That's not his brand. His brand is not just losers. Yeah. We're guaranteeing you lose. We're going to stop anyone who tries to beat us. That is like the complete opposite of his persona.
Yeah. The irony is that no one within their community is ever going to sound the alarm because they're probably never going to have a really good sports bettor from within their community.
Here, I'll tell you this much: you'll have a better shot convincing him than you will a legislature.
True, for sure.
So, like, honestly, it's not the worst strategy to just get all the best professional sports bettors focus on Portnoy. Everyone amplify that signal until he has to fucking respond that they're limiting people, and then if he does something about it, then he can shit on all the other books. It could be a marketing gimmick for him.
And they're the king of flipping that into their favor.
They would say, DraftKings limits you and bans you guys. Come on over here. Here's Portnoy's not banning pick of the day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or here's an extra $500. We will never ban you. And then hire a competent bookmaker like they used to do. Yeah. And they could probably make more money on volume.
Yeah. And like, it doesn't seem either that it would still be that hard to get the kind of betting from those bros that you want. Offer all your parlay, 10-leg parlay boosters, all that shit. Like, I feel like it is possible for sports books to have their cake and eat it too. But they just seem to like, why would we do that if we can just play the one game we want to play?
I'll tell you know why. It's because of the legislature, and they could lobby their way to mow off competition. Otherwise, they'd have no goddamn choice. Before you get to that super chat, really quick, someone in my I can't pronounce this. Mabaron says in my YouTube, Barstool said winning bettors are equal to card counters. Is that true? That can't be fucking true.
That would seem like it would be death as like a statement to get circulated.
If you can get that tweet or whatever, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, send that to us. And Ryan Hodge here posing a very important question. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Still paying back that money from our head-to-head challenge during the NFL playoffs. How many sorority girls do you think fire on college football hungover on a Saturday?
Not many.
I mean, and who knows though? Maybe they do. Saturdays are for the girls betting promo with Barstool. If anyone could capture that audience, I assume it would be them.
Do sorority girls like Barstool?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they've gotten to where they now have kind of the they don't discriminate gender wise on bros, chicks and bros. They'll take them all.
Portnoy said it. He's saying. That can't be right. That can't be right. He's admitting that he's kicking out anyone who's a winning sports better. That I don't know. That just seems complete opposite his brand.
Yeah. Let's see here. They called Knish sort of a card counter, so which is such like a ridiculous analogy.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. You got to hit him harder. He'll come. Remember, he wouldn't buy Bitcoin for like a year or two.
Yeah, and he does. Like the one thing about him is he will. I mean, obviously, he has a massive platform, a bully pulpit, but he hears like if you have like some level of a platform and you go like he hears it and he'll reference it and it gnaws at him because I think there's this combo. And like, I know the feeling a little bit, like you have the choice. Do I want to turn this into content or is this actually just bugging me so much that I can't help myself in talking about it? And so I do think that's a good strategy. If you got that, where's the Bettor collective, the betting collective with Rufus? We need to get Spanky, you get Knish, you get Whale, Capper, everybody going after Portnoy. Eventually maybe the sounds can do something.
Anyone who gets limited on prop bets, you immediately get on in the thread or whatever and tag Portnoy. Like we've outlined, I don't know how long ago, like what it would take, what I think it would take to like work to put together kind of like a lobbying group on behalf of the gamblers. And it would be like super expensive and very little shot of winning. It's like at least 10 grand a session in Illinois in Springfield per lobbyist.
It's crazy.
And so you got to do that across the country. And that's just lobbying. You need to get the newspapers on your side and you need to get litigious. There's like a whole bunch of stuff you'd have to do. And people are just used to assuming that it's, it's just like this old Puritan value. It's like, no, gambling should be regulated. Gambling should be regulated. So they get to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They have no right to do any of this. Like you've just been trained to think that they do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is the clip that Knish was talking about.
All right.
How about some guy came at the sports book? I think he was a big gambler in Michigan.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to that, but they're sharps. Think of it as like a card counter.
Mm-hmm.
That we did a bad job of from seeing like the Penn response. We like, we don't recreational gamblers. You can't have card counters. That's universal. The equivalent of a card counter.
Well, yeah. Who is it that way? I think Dana White and Affleck are like banned from playing blackjack at a bunch of casinos. Like that's kind of what
I know
happened.
Affleck was. I mean, we do these promos that are meant to give players great odds, but then there's a group of people who use those odds, can bet them both ways, multiple accounts, things of that nature that guarantee you win. Not illegal, theoretically, illegal with terms and conditions of what we say, but that's how you go bankrupt, allowing that type of behavior.
How much does it suck for you being on the other end where you know you don't want people to get fucked and you want to be for the player, but it's kind of, you're kind of in a tough spot.
Yeah, it sucks a little bit. That I don't feel bad about at all. And anybody who knows how this works, there is no other sports book that has as huge a player advocates as Penn does. Like Dan and I bet as players, we don't get any special treatment, and we fight tooth and nail for every advantage that a player can get. But we don't do what they're doing, which is multiple bots and this and that, and guaranteeing we're trying to pick games like normal humans.
Yeah, I mean it's hard too because it's one of those things where you can't be the customer service rep for all these people that who have problems, so it sucks. So there's really no way to fix this. It's so big.
And again guarantee nobody has player advocates like we do because Dan and I play and advocate for you.
All right.
How since when does playing equate to advocating for the players? Am I a DFS advocate because I play?
And these pro bettors are taking advantage of their little $20 max bonus bets. That's how they're making their money. Because all those little stupid bonuses that like the bonus bet things, like plus 125 is now plus 200. They're like $50, $20 max. And a lot of the multiple accounting is because they ban them. So they have to like open the account under their cousin's name and shit.
And I've seen videos of Joey Knish. I believe he attempted his own push-up challenge around the Bales time, and although his form was atrocious, but he doesn't strike me as a guy that's using multiple bots to arbitrage a single line at the Barstool Sportsbook. I might be going out on a limb saying that, but he doesn't strike me as that guy.
And it's complete horseshit. This would be worth someone's time and effort. I'm not going to do it, but I could document. I'm not using any fucking bots, and I'll just bet your props. And you will fucking limit me. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Like what does he
hasn't
say?
That already happened to you at other?
Yeah, Happy and Bet Rivers. I have a Barstool account. I just haven't. I haven't been using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. After I got limited, I stopped. I got limited on 2 sites, and so I slowed down. And I'm gonna go back. I'm just wondering when I'm trying to figure out how to disguise my play a little more. What?
Yeah. You're trying to lay low for a little while?
Yeah, like how do you disguise your play a little bit so you don't get banned as fast and stuff like that.
Get in on some of the bets with the sorority girls on Saturdays, and you'll hide your true identity there.
You have to take some overs and take some actual big markets like football and just suck up the minus EV. And I think there's some other ways to do it, but they eventually will get you either way. But that's just so fucking ridiculous. He clearly was just talking out of his ass. He was just making up things. He had no idea what Knish was. I think he's purposely conflating multiple styles of bettors. So he's conflating like bonus hunters.
Yeah.
Bot like Spanky's outfit, right? That do use bots.
Yeah.
Right. He's conflating. He probably listens to their podcast, and that's where he's getting some of this. So he's conflating like the bonus bettors, the Spankies of the world, and then people who they've kicked out and then had their cousin go on, and then combining them all into one person and calling them a sharp.
Yeah.
But you don't need to do any of that, and they still will fucking ban you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he can just wave it away, and of course, I'm sure there's some cognitive dissonance there because he knows he's a fraud, like in that aspect of being a player advocate, and then he's like, okay, so I got to make these guys seem like the biggest scumbags in the world. And by the way, kicking out card counters is not a good thing. Like people want to be card counters. People like that and enjoy it. And it's a cat and mouse game between the casino and the player. It doesn't mean that you kicking them out is good.
Yeah.
Like card counters, fuck them. Like everyone, how many people you go to a casino and they're like, you could hear them go like 4, 3, 6, I'm like, sure, pal. Sure you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone who fucking sits down thinks they could do that.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't even get that line of argument.
And also, like you were saying, his co-host goes, yeah, you're kind of in a hard place, which is actually very true. Like your brand is being this man of the people, all of this stuff, and yet you're okay enforcing these rules. And he quickly changes. He's like, yeah, it is kind of, but no, we were never going to allow this stuff to begin with, So I think it's kind of blatant hypocrisy. But I don't think, again, from their core demographic, I don't think anyone gives a shit.
Because the way he framed it.
Yeah.
And they trust him. But if you hammer him enough, it's amazing that they even talked about it on their show. So like if the people keep hammering him with evidence and go, I'm not a bot. I'm just a dude with a spreadsheet.
I'm just Ben the Bettor.
I have a Ben the Bettor Patreon account. Okay. Don't ban me, bro.
Don't ban me. You should do that. You should do that as a content thing. How long would it take you to get limited at the Barstool Sportsbook?
Yeah, I publicly say that, and just hammer props.
Yeah. And do what you were saying, where it's like, I'm not using a bot. I'm just betting lines. That's what you did at Bet Rivers, right? Like you're not doing any arbitrage on the same book stuff. You're literally looking at your projections and betting lines that you think are soft.
Maybe I will. The NBA season's almost over.
Yeah. Harbs, you just described what Brian and I are together combined. The play is to be an influencer who is actually sharp but acts the part of a dumb bettor and makes vlogs to a big audience. So Brian does the smart, sharp sports betting, and I'm the influencer who looks like a dumb bettor and makes the vlogs. I mean, we got the makeup right here to pull off this gambit, Brian.
There you go. Man, disappointing, Portnoy.
Yeah, he was your boy. You love that guy.
Exactly my boy. I've never actually even listened to their show, anything on Barstool. Not that I shit on it or anything. He seems funny to me, but I've just seen his Twitter stuff, like his fundraising, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't know a ton about him.
Yeah. I mean,
the Bitcoin stuff was pretty funny, where he wouldn't buy it and then he bought it and sold it and all that stuff, and shitting on Robinhood. That was cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's good at feeling the kind of reading the room and knowing which side to take in a way that the most people are going to cheer for him. He's good at picking his spots like that.
I think bots is a fair critique. A lot of people don't know anything about sports betting, don't know that we're still in competition a bit. It's not just the cat and mouse game between you and the casino not getting booted.
It's who gets the line first.
It's who gets the line first.
Yeah.
And so I could see, banning for that. I'm trying to think about, honestly, in a, not to rehash, we've done these episodes before, but in a completely free market, I could say do whatever they want. But in this super highly regulated market, I don't think they should be allowed to, because it's not a free market. It's just a government. It's almost a government private business partnership. It's not almost. It is.
Yeah.
So but I could understand the bot thing. But I think if they didn't ban everyone, they wouldn't have to. People wouldn't need to go open multiple accounts or something like that. And I think that's crazy. I don't know how they even get away with that. It's hard enough getting my money on my personal account, from these sites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to send them 27 different, whatever bills and your ID. And it took me, remember when Rivers limited me? It took a week in threats during COVID. They wanted me to go in the casino at the peak of COVID.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And it's and so I threatened I'm going to call my local legislator.
Yeah.
And they sent it to me the next day.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Throwing some weight around.
That is, by the way, just a random piece of advice. If you call your local legislator it actually can help. Like, it doesn't help society anyways, but because they don't really have to do anything. Their secretary it depends on the office, but some of them are better than others. And I'm talking local here. I'm not, if you call Ted Cruz, you're probably not going to get a fucking response, but like, they just call like the legislative liaison from each agency. The secretary does, and says, "Oh, our guy is having a problem with unemployment. Could you look into it, Brian?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." Like, there's usually someone dedicated there to like handling that. So like, if you're getting the runaround at customer service, which can definitely happen because they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
there's no consequences for them. You might want to do that.
Interesting. Yeah, Harbs is appreciating that. Some nice alpha sports bettor hack there from Brian. One thing I wanted to touch on here before we wrap up, because I saw this funny oddity in the Top Shot space that was particularly relevant to Brian and I here owning Nikola Jokic Cosmic, is Brian, did you see that if we go to the listings here this morning, there was a sale for $4,250 of a Jokic?
I didn't see that. I saw you sent me that message. Could that be like he sold it to his buddy?
No, so the story actually already came out on Twitter. MBL knows the guy who was the seller. He fat fingered the listing. He wanted to list it. He forgot a zero. He wanted it for $42,500. And then Andrew Morrow, who I think actually just became a VIP member on the channel and hangs out in our Discord, he was the one that got the snipe here, Morathon. So congratulations to Andrew for getting a Jokic Cosmic for 4,200 here.
That is rough. I don't know if I want to say congratulations because you did lower the overall value of our Jokic with this.
Yeah, there he is. He's hanging out in the chat. Yeah, I mean,
I would much rather him buy it at 400,000 and
yeah,
$250, and then we can immediately list ours.
Well, I thought we should talk about that because we haven't discussed in a while, and like, you know, part of our thesis of buying it was like Jokic. So we bought ours, you can see here on the ledger, we bought ours January 27th. I mean, it was a little bit of a risk at the time. I mean, part of like the outcome we were hoping for was him winning MVP. And we had all these grand plans of, if he wins MVP and we have a Top Shot bull market during the playoffs, like this is going to be a sick value. A lot of that lined up except the whole bull market thing, Brian.
Yeah. And the MVP's coming.
Yeah.
We're assuming. Is this like a sell the rumor, buy the news? Like, should we list it before the MVP and before he gets, like, if they get a little farther? You know, theoretically, I'm saying.
Yeah, and now I'm actually curious if he would have been able to get his updated listing. Obviously, right now, low ask 50,000. He was going to put his up for 42,500. Mm-hmm. I would have been extremely curious if that would have sold, just based on the transaction history and the market right now. I would guess not.
Yeah, we were in the 60 range there for a while.
Yeah,
one sold for 60, right?
Yeah, and that was March 4th, and then man, just crickets.
Mm.
But I feel like I assume most Cosmic holders fell into the same camp, right? Where they wanted to ride it out from an MVP standpoint, even when things were pumping. You still thought there was a little meat on the bone for when he locked up MVP, and then the market crashed, and now no one wants to kind of sell at a lower valuation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wish it was like stagnant or slightly bad as opposed to going so far down. Because then we could have the strategy talk would be more serious. We're really at this point, it's kind of, do you want to sell now, or do you want to hold for who knows how long?
Right. Because it could get even uglier in the off season.
So like, I thought we did a couple episodes ago. I made the argument for this is the best time to sell a Westbrook, and I still haven't listed mine. But I don't think there's going to be a better time to sell Westbrook in the next 5 years than now, just based on performance. I'm saying not the
market,
not the Top Shot market. And Jokic is good. This is pretty damn good too. Like, he's young, he could get hurt. He's not retiring anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, but he could get into like whatever LeBron popularity. I mean, obviously not that high, but just like the stud in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that's kind of the thing of like, is there what ends up being the market for him? Say Top Shot does rebound a little bit. The MVP news, it still is a set that is very unique. They're not doing more cosmic sets. That said, I agree with you. Otherwise, you kind of have to then even play a longer game and just hope that he solidifies himself as like a locked and loaded top 5 player, like going forward perennially.
Yeah. While I have you here, are you doing your show next with Pat?
Yeah.
Ask him. What does he think about the Tatum?
Okay, I will ask him. It's so funny thinking back because we were talking about that the other night on Ship Chasing that we were like even talking about football, like when we were in the Top Shot, or Ben Gretsch said we had Top Shot brain. And I remember trying to do a draft and I just couldn't even think about football. It was just all Top Shot. And now it's like reversed. I was like, asking Pat about Top Shot on Ship Chasing tonight would have felt so weird to me. And that's how quickly things change around here, Brian.
I know. I really wish they wouldn't have done the rent-seeking model shit. I wish they would have kept it plus EV, kept the interest going, and print and not print as much. Don't bring the CCs in. Leave the LEs. Yeah.
I do think.
Who knows if that would have helped? But that's what I wanted.
Yeah, and I still I still think long term, this Jokic moment is going to be very nice, save for, like you said, an injury, something like that, which is within the range of outcomes.
Yeah.
But I think this moment is going to age well. We just might have to be more patient than we wanted to be.
And there's still the concern of the overall market that I talk about every other show, basically, of what's going to happen to asset prices if inflation does come from the Fed's money printing and low interest rates.
Yeah.
Like it could be like still hold its value but your purchase price of your dollars is going to go down. So like, I mean, who knows how that plays out, or the whole goddamn thing crashes and then people don't have any money for Top Shots.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably not going to be holding their money in Top Shot. They're probably going to be holding their money in gold, Bitcoin, traditional company stock, foreign assets, maybe. I mean, I'm just guessing, but like, I think this is a clown economy, and so I have no idea what's going to happen. But you might want to just get out of this.
And look, I only own 1/10 of this. You are the primary voice in this, and whatever you want to do with it, I will be on board with. I don't feel super strong in either direction, so I will be happy to follow your lead. You won't upset me in either direction.
What is your lean? Just out of curiosity, if you were gun to your head.
My lean, I haven't felt. It really just pains me to sell at a loss. And I have just naturally a hodler mentality with stuff. Mm-hmm. And that can obviously burn you and stuff. But I do actually think the Jokic is going to look very good over like a longer 2 to 3 year time horizon. So I would lean toward holding, but I wouldn't even be remotely upset if you're like, hey, Pete, I really want to get out from this.
Wait, you think it would go less than what we bought for?
It would depend how quickly we wanted to sell. Or, I mean,
he's going 42.5, and we had a better rank.
And Andrew's already asking us not to undercut him. He's the one that relisted his at 50K. I don't think that's going to sell anytime soon at 50K.
So there is another reason to sell is congratulations, you left your job.
I did. I did.
Some extra cash in your pocket from selling a Jokic, maybe.
I hope this isn't a clown economy, Brian. I need it. Yeah. Maybe I should be, locking in some Top Shot profits here. But man, it does not feel like a good time to do that right now.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like at its lowest point. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't watch I started watching your show and I got distracted from yesterday. What did all the guys say? Do they? I mean, they're kind of truthers. You know what I mean? Like they're on board, but like, are they all optimistic?
Yeah, I mean, long term, everybody's still very optimistic. I mean, we were talking about an auction the other night that they were doing, and they kind of completely botched it from a marketing standpoint. I think the holo went for, it was like 32,000, a LeBron holo, just completely messed it up. So we were playing lot and thinks of if we did a marketing hype machine for that for like a week and auctioned it off on Club Top Shot, like what price could it have been? So yeah, I think it's in a weird spot right now. But I'm still bullish long term, but I realize that it's painful right now, especially for people who got in March or whatever. Not full-time ship chasing. God, I would love to live in a world where I could just do ship chasing and make a living. But yes, full-time of that ilk. Thank you, Ryan. Keep those super chats coming, buddy.
Please. I'm
begging you. What were you going to say?
Do you have any surprises in store now that you've...
No, this I said this on the Swolecast today. I'm like worried that now everyone's expecting this big thing. I was like pushing it to the max as is. I'm juggling like 6 different projects right now. I'm going to be ramping up and writing the Fantasy Life newsletter every day. So I have a few things that I want to keep pushing, but please, I'm begging you, don't expect some massive new thing from me.
And I know I've talked to you a little bit about offline. This is the first time for you without a real. Are you nervous?
There's like just the slightest pit of like uncertainty in it, which is like, if there wasn't, that would even be kind of concerning. I mean, part of why I wanted to do this is because it's been so easy for me to coast. And to also just think of everything like this as just a hobby, house money. Like if it's successful, great. If not, I don't care. I'm just doing it on the side. And now I finally have given myself like no excuses. And like, I'm going to force myself to push for edges, push for things and just work harder at making this all happen without the kind of laissez-faire, I don't give a shit if it doesn't work out mentality.
I remember in 2008, 9, during the last big crash, like everyone was worried about poker doing poorly, and it was fine.
Yeah,
I mean the skill level was always getting smaller and smaller. That was the real problem. But people still played. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're still going to play fantasy sports.
Well, the thing is too, and I've seen Bales say this, and I certainly believe it, of like, the irony is that having one single source of income from an employer is far more risky than getting it from 10 different spots, which is what my taxes will look like, a year from now. Is I will have income from probably 9 or 10 different streams, freelance, contractor, independent stuff. Any one of those could go belly up, but like I do feel being in multiple industries, versatile kind of skill set. I can do writing, podcasting, video. Like if one thing went belly up, I do think there's still other routes I could go.
I just thought of a great outcome here too. Now that you're going to be cutting a check at the end of the year, one big fat check to the government, you're going to be coming on Team
Libertarian.
You're like, we should shut this whole thing down, baby.
Dude, I've already I'm already bracing for, I mean, not even the side of like the amount of taxes I'm going to owe, but just, I was already thinking of like all the man's coin sales and like having to figure out all that shit with the crypto and the sales and, the things I can write off against it. And I'm just like, it's going to be a disaster trying to get under.
When you write that fat check, it's like, for what? You fucking thieves.
It's so you can call up your representative when Bet Rivers is screwing
and
you.
The only reason I know that is because I worked for the state.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was my salary. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm aware of the quarterly.
I have to redo mine every year anyway. It's so like it does. Quarterly is just a waste of time.
What?
And plus, I pay an accountant too, so then it costs me more money.
Yeah. All right. I gotta hop over to ship chasing. This was fun as always, guys. If you haven't subscribed to our channels, if you're watching over on Brian's channel, my channel, please subscribe. We got the audio version. That podcast always goes up a little later on Wednesday nights. We'll have more updates on any potential challenge movements, although it doesn't sound like that's happening. And we appreciate you guys hanging with us every Wednesday. As I said, I'm going over to ship chasing. If you guys want to talk fantasy football with us tomorrow on my channel, I'm doing splash play early with Chris Spags because I'm clearing my schedule for a relaxing Memorial Day weekend. Brian, do you have anything going on this weekend?
No. Well, we got golf tomorrow, people. So don't forget. I put my ownership up for free if you guys want to use it. Have at it on my website. No, I have no challenge coming up, and
you're the challenge.
I'm moving, so you guys will see a different background here eventually.
Ooh, I'm actually very excited about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to Airbnb because the closing dates don't line up and shit.
Oh God, just call up Alex.
Oh shit, he's staying in his hot tub.
Dude, that would be such a good bit of content of you bunking on Alex. I mean, we've seen his streams. He broadcasts from a different room literally every day of the week. I mean, you can find a place. Well,
that's my Airbnb, one room in Alex's house.
There you go. Well, congrats on the move. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Yeah.